If anyone had told me that my Kunle will one day become the reason I cry myself to sleep every night, I would have slapped them for insulting my husband. I loved that man with every fiber of my being, and I thought he loved me too. Until my son David died in my arm on a cold Wednesday morning. The day started like any other. David had woken up coughing a little, but nothing alarming. I gave him warm water, rubbed shea butter on his chest, and called Kunle to come drop us at the hospital. But Kunle said he was already in a meeting, said he would send money instead. I'm sorry, babe, just get him checked. It's probably just catarrh, he said, his voice smooth as always. I didn't argue, I never did. I carried my little boy to the clinic around the corner. The nurse checked him and said it was mild chest infection. Gave me antibiotics and paracetamol, nothing serious. But by nightfall, my son was gasping for breath like he was drowning in invisible water. I panicked. I screamed. I called Kunle again. His line was busy. I rushed David to the hospital. I held his tiny hands all through the ride, praying every prayer I knew. I sang songs. I begged God. I begged my son. Please, David, stay with mommy. Just hold on, baby. But he didn't. David gave up the fight just as we got to the emergency ward. The nurse tried CPR. The doctor came running, but I knew the moment his finger slipped from mine that my baby was gone. Gone. My world collapsed right there on the cold hospital floor. I screamed, I wailed. I fought the nurse who tried to hold me. I called Kunle again, but this time he picked. He sounded calm. What happened? He asked. Our son is gone, Kunle. Our son is dead. I screamed. There was silence on his end, and then a soft sigh. We will talk when I get home, he said, and ended the call. Just like that. No tears, no shock, no rushing to the hospital. Nothing. That was the moment I felt it. A shift. Something was wrong. Terribly wrong. And it wasn't just about David dying. It was something deeper. Something dark. Because when I got home that night, still soaked in tears and shaking like a leaf, Kunle was in the sitting room eating amala, watching football, as if nothing had happened. And beside him on the couch was a red scarf, a woman's scarf, one I had never seen before. That was the first night I questioned who my husband really was, and it wouldn't be the last. I stood at the entrance of our living room staring at the scarf. Bright red, silk, expensive looking, and reeking of perfume I didn't wear. Kunle didn't even look up. He dipped his amala in a wedu soup and chewed like he hadn't just lost his only son. Like our child wasn't lying in a cold hospital freezer, zipped up in a white body bag. Kunle, I whispered, my voice shaking. Who owns that scarf? He looked at it, then looked at me. Oh, one of my colleagues must have forgotten it, he said, licking soup off his fingers. Don't let that stress you, I beg. You've been through enough. I blinked at him, confused. You think I care about a scarf when our son just died? His jaw tightened. He dropped the spoon. Exactly, Kemi. He's dead. What do you want me to do? Tear my clothes and roll on the floor? Without bringing back? I took a step back like he slapped me. Kunle, are you even human? He stood, wiped his mouth, and walked past me like I was furniture. He's gone, he muttered coolly. Accept it and move on. Move on? Our only son barely 4. His toys were still scattered around the parlor. His tiny shoes were still by the door. His favorite cartoon was still saved on the TV. And this man, this stranger I married, wanted me to move on? I felt like I was losing my mind. I sat on the couch, staring at the red scarf like it held all the answers I needed. I picked it up and noticed something tucked beneath the cushion. A phone. not Kunle's. A second phone. My hand shook as I powered it on. No password, just desperation and curiosity pushing me. The wallpaper was a picture of a woman, tall, light-skinned, sharp cheekbones, fake smile. Her hands wrapped around Kunle's waist like she owned him. I checked the messages. Babe, I told you the kids are a problem. When will you be a man enough to choose me? You promised me a clean slate. I'm still waiting. The last message came in 3 days before David died. I dropped the phone like it was hot coal. My heart pounded so loudly I thought I would faint. I wanted to wake up from the nightmare, but I wasn't dreaming. Kule didn't just have a lover, he had a plan. And I had a terrifying thought for the first time. What if David didn't die by accident? What if my husband has something to do with it? Who is this woman in the picture? Why does she want the kids gone? Could Kinley have poisoned his own child? And is my remaining child in danger? That night I barely slept. The red scarf and the messages haunted me like a bad dream I couldn't wake up from. I kept replaying those words. The kids are a problem. A clean slate. Who says that about children? Who is this woman who could make my husband think such a dark thing? But more terrifying was the question gnawing at me. Did Kunle kill David? The thought was unbearable. The next morning I watched Kunle closely. Every glance, every move, every word. He was polite, calm, too calm, like a man hiding a secret too heavy for words. Our daughter Blessing was quiet. She clung to me like a lifeline, sensing the storm around her. I knew I had to protect her. I decided to call my old friend Choma, a nurse at the hospital where David died. I met her in a quiet cafe. I showed her David's medical report and told her everything I suspected. She frowned, reading between the lines. Kemi, these symptoms, they could be poisoning, she said quietly. The doctors would have missed it if they were looking for toxins. Kids can be poisoned slowly over days. My heart stopped. Poisoned? By who? Choma shook her head. I don't know. But if you think Kunle is involved, you need proof. And you need to protect Blessing. Protect Blessing. The weight of those words pressed down on me. That night I searched the house for anything suspicious. I found an empty bottle of cough syrup in the trash, one I never bought. I hid it. I began watching what Kunle ate and drank. Then I started monitoring Blessing, every cough, every sniffle. She seemed fine for now, but I couldn't shake the feeling that time was running out. I also found another message on the secret phone. He's getting suspicious. We need to act fast. We, I whispered. Who else was involved in this nightmare? And then I realized this was no longer just about Kunle and me. It was bigger, darker. I was up against a secret that could destroy everything I loved. And I was alone. The weight of the secret phone and those chilling messages pressed down on me like a heavy stone. Every minute, every second, I felt like I was sinking deep into a dark pit. Who was the we in the message? Who else wanted my children gone? I started to watch Kunle even more closely. He was slipping into a cold, distant man I barely recognized. And the more I watched, the more I felt I was chasing a ghost. One evening, I decided to confront him. I waited until Blessing was asleep upstairs. Kunle sat on the veranda staring at his drink. Kunle, I said softly, trying to steady my voice. Who else knows about this woman? Who is she? He looked up, eyes sharp and tired. You don't know what you're talking about, Kemi. Yes, I do. I held up the secret phone. I know everything. The messages, the plans. His face darkened. You think I will harm my own children? I swallowed my tears. Then why does she say the kids are a problem? He didn't answer. Instead, he stood up and walked inside, slamming the door behind him. I felt my heart break in two. That night, I sat in the dark thinking. I knew I couldn't trust him, not anymore. The next morning, I called Detective Nena, a woman I barely knew but had heard was good at uncovering the truth. I didn't tell her everything, just enough to make her listen. We will look into it, she said quietly. But Kemi, you must be careful. If Kunle is involved, he won't go down without a fight. The fear and the resolve burning inside me. I had lost one child. Now I had to save the other. Because if I didn't, Blessing would be the next. Detective Nena was nothing like I expected. Calm, focused, and fiercely determined. She arrived at my house the next morning, clipboard in hand, ready to dig into the nightmare that had become my life. Tell me everything, Kemi. Start from the beginning, she said gently. I recounted the strange deaths, the red scarf, the secret phone, and the messages. She listened carefully, occasionally jotting notes. I'll get a warrant to search your husband's office and phone records, she promised. If Kule is hiding something, we'll find out. For the first time since David died, I felt a flicker of hope. But I knew I was playing with fire. Later that day, Detective Nena called. We found something disturbing, she said quietly. Kunle's phone shows repeated searches on poisons and toxins, and his recent bank transactions include payments to a woman named Tasha. Tasha, that woman in the photo. It was proof, but I still needed more. The evening I confronted Kunle again, this time aimed with Detective Nena's findings. He sat across from me, his usual arrogance, replaced by cold silence. I know about Tasha and I know about the poison, I said, voice steady but shaking. He smiled, but it wasn't a loving smile. It was dangerous. Tasha is the only one who understands me, he said softly. The children, they were a mistake, a burden. She showed me a way out. My heart shattered. You killed David. You tried to kill Blessing. He didn't deny it. Sometimes love means sacrifice, he whispered. I stared at him, disgusted and broken. You're a monster. He stood, walking towards the door. You can't stop what is coming, he said. And then he was gone. Detective Kemi and the police arrested Kunle that night. They found poison hidden in his car and evidence linking him to David's death. The trial was brutal. Kunle didn't fight. His love for Tasha vanished without a trace. I stood in court, broken but unyielding, for David, for Blessing, for all the mothers who lost children to cruelty hidden behind closed doors. Kunle was convicted and sentenced to life imprisonment. But my fight didn't end there. I became a voice for women like me, warning them to watch the shadows in their homes. And though my heart will never fully heal, I found strength in my daughter's smile. Blessing was my hope, my reason to live, my reason to fight. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, please share, comment, like. Thank you.